Welcome, friends and brothers. Rob and Marcus here. We are excited to talk to you today about topics related to modern men. The mission of Friends and Brothers is to change lives and be a resource for you to find or regain your inner yelp. Thanks for tuning in today as we talk about participation trophies. Are you ready to get started, Marcus?
Oh yeah.
So I think we're chatting a little bit on this topic here, trying to figure out the real hook. And I think what we came up with was that participation trophies need to go bye-bye.
They need to
Um,
go way bye-bye.
they fail to teach our children how to win or lose with grace, right? And I think we're going to talk about confidence a little bit here. And is a participation trophy a confidence builder or a detriment to building confidence, right?
Right.
So how do we turn that around?
I don't know. It's going to take some time.
Yes, it will, right?
Yeah, it's going to take some time. But like in life, there are winners and there are losers, and
Yes.
there are participants. Not everybody gets the trophy, and it's a tough subject. We like you said, we had some dialogue, kind of trying to figure this out a little bit. I'm of the belief that and again, developmentally, who knows where these things occur in kids growing up to be adults. But, we have to learn through failure. And failure comes at a cost. And it comes at a cost of you as the person participating, but not getting anything from it except potentially learning something through the process.
That's
Right?
interesting. Yeah.
So if I'm not me, Marcus, as an adult, but if I'm putting myself back as a child and I'm participating in something that I'm wanting to win at, because I don't like to lose. My preference is I want to win. that's where I want to go as opposed to the losing part. But if it's something I'm participating in and I didn't do well enough, I know I have to try harder, or I have to get the skills and gain the skills or learn something that's going to allow me to level up using modern terminology. Therefore, I can win or can be competitive. So I don't know if I learned that or you learned that or kids who are getting things from an excellence standpoint are getting that from just participating and getting a trophy because of it or a ribbon or those kinds of things.
Right.
I remember as a competitive swimmer, yeah, you would get ribbons for first, second, third place, but you wouldn't get anything for anything else.
Right.
You would get, medals, those kinds of things for winning, and you get on a pedestal and you get those winning. Baseball, you always had tryouts. If I tried out for something as a kid and you didn't make it, you're like, damn it, I didn't make it. I gotta level up my skill set so I can get the coach's attention, whatever that may be.
And that's it's one of those things. I mean, my kids are a bit on the younger side, right? The oldest of my three is 4 years old, right? But I just remember, hearing the stories like just, as a kid, you fail a test, right? Or everyone's to blame except the individual, right?
Yeah, the student.
And I feel like it's a constant learning battle, if you will, to the kids about learning how to accept defeat or learning how to fail mindfully, um, learning about the process of learning and not so much worried about that one moment in time or that one activity as being our definition of success.
Yeah. One of the things that comes to mind as you just were talking was something I had to learn, and it was the idea of empathy.
Mm, yes.
I think that's where a lot of that comes from, because I think in some cases our natural inclination potentially as human beings, especially boys, is to tease and to taunt and to bully and all those kinds of things. And both my parents and any of the other adults that were close to me at any point in time, if they caught you doing that, you immediately not got reprimanded, but you immediately got corrected. Now, put yourself in, Joey or Mary or whatever's shoes. How would that make you feel if you had that? And you kind of step back and go, oh, yeah, I wouldn't like that too much.
Yeah, I know bullying has become a very hot topic, the last 5 years, especially.
Yeah.
It could have been the last 10 years, but really the last 5 years, I've personally seen a lot of more development in the anti-bullying culture, right? Or drive for that, right? And, I don't disbelieve that when a child is bullying, it's because of the lack of attention they're receiving at another end, right? They're
Yeah.
simply looking for attention,
Right.
right? And now, as for adults, I can't say what the motivation is, except that maybe they had poor parents too, but and they just they
Right.
still refuse to learn. Um, but it's in the long run, it just doesn't build confidence when when we when we can't learn how to have empathy, right? Having empathy, I think, is a huge confidence builder. I don't think it's automatic and it doesn't happen at night or overnight, right? But over time, we can teach our children how to have empathy for others, right? And that specifically builds into how to win gracefully.
Yeah.
So it's not just about losing and learning from our mistakes, because I think we also need to learn from our successes as well, so we can learn to
Right.
repeat them or improve on them, right?
Right.
And so like if in a triathlon, if I won my age group, maybe I come in top three in overall or something. Does that mean I'm the best in the world? No, but so I still need to learn from that. Like what did go well? What maybe didn't go well, but I learned like what did I do or maneuver differently to be successful in that, right? In that activity. But learning to, congratulate those, who maybe we won in that particular match against. It definitely shows class. It definitely, without a doubt, shows confidence, right? And that's how we want to be treated. I think we were talking earlier about, how we treat others and that's definitely, if you lose, you need to be bullied by the person who won or taunted by the person who won.
No, but you use that terminology when we're talking in a sports um, topic, I
Right.
guess, that person who is acting in accordance with being classy, right? So he's a classy or she's a classy athlete because they won gracefully in some or they lost gracefully in some capacity. And I believe in many cases that is learned through again that adversity, through failure, and yeah, you're participating, but you're not getting the confidence from just the participation. You're getting the confidence from, okay, I just fell on my face, and I've got a team of people, whether that's mom or dad or my siblings or other teammates or whatever, holding you up in some capacity and going, all right, you can do it. Let's do this again.
Yep.
That builds confidence. I get that.
Yes.
That's exactly what that's exactly it. But it's not, okay, well, Rob and Marcus, you're just going to go out and play a tennis match, playing like 100 other guys. And everybody, by the way, gets a participation trophy. You're all awesome. Yeah, I don't want to sit around with, 100 other guys going, hey, dude, you're awesome, and slapping each other on the ass. That's just not, that doesn't build anybody's confidence.
Yeah. Well, I will say my golf game is so poor that I prefer just not to bother keeping score. So
Supposed to be fun. Yeah.
like my participation trophy is the beers I'm having
Yeah.
with those I'm actually golfing with.
So how do we influence or do that with our kids so that they understand that the participation with whatever they're doing, whether it's in academics or in sports, personal, whatever those kinds of things, you are participating. You're not always going to get something from it. There isn't like this win-lose relationship all the time. You're going to participate in life, and you're going to fail, and you're going to succeed. You just are. So how do we do that?
It's so with athletes, and I actually have one high school cross country athlete, which would be the first non-adult athlete that I've been training.
Right.
And they just had their district and regional race over the past couple of weeks. And one of the very first things that, we're talking about is not just looking at the short term, like this race ahead, but overall, because the athlete is actually a freshman in high school, right? So they're on the younger side of the spectrum in terms of, like they still have another 3 years of high school to run.
Yeah.
And so, the season's over now, but they have another 3 years. So are you looking at race over race, or are you going to look at the full long-term picture here? So you're going to, and if you're long from very beginning to very end is that as a progression in terms of being faster, right? That's what you need to look for. So if you have a bad race one day, you settle into it and you deal with it for a little while, but you need to kind of forget about it and move on because you have another race coming up or you have another training opportunity coming up. And that's how you're going to get better. You're not going to get better because you're dwelling on that one activity that you quote unquote failed at. Every opportunity, even if it's not one that you got to you're the fastest or the best, it's an opportunity to learn and to improve. And that's how you're going, and by improving is, in essence, that's how you're going to build your confidence, right? But if you can look at that long picture and be patient about that and trusting the process, you're going to be a lot happier overall as well.
So let me ask this question as, again, I'm thinking in terms of kids for a second here, but as we learn those as kids, I want to go into a game or whatever it is that I'm doing as a kid because I want to have fun, but I also want to win, right? The confidence part is such an amazing and integral part of this whole process because, if we're just sitting around patting each other on the back because we just showed up, that's not good enough in my book. It's just not.
No, and one thing that I look at is it's not that you showed up and it's not whether you won.
Yeah.
But did you give it your best
Yeah.
effort?
Yeah.
That's
did you put blood, sweat, and tears out on the field, whatever it is. Yeah.
So whether you won or lost, did you give your best effort? If you won and you didn't give your best effort, take that trophy away.
Right.
Just as much. You don't deserve that trophy just as much because you did not give your best effort.
Right. You just half-assed it. You still may have won, but that has a certain sense of, oh, well, I'm a big egomaniac too.
Right. Well, I don't know if you watched the movie King Richard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good story.
It's a good story.
And there was this scene where I think, it's their first matches, or, it's early on the first matches and they both won and they're talking about how, the girls, they're like, well, the other girls sucked. And like, it was the sister, one of the other sisters who was made the comments and then they're just kind of laughing about it. And, he stopped the car and they had a talk about like, you never look down on the person you just beat. Right. And then he made him watch the movie about humility, right?
Right.
And that was a good. I think that was a good lesson at least in the movie, how much it actually occurred or how the story actually played out in real life. I don't know, but I think it was a nice learning moment, right? To talk about and teach humility. And when everyone gets a participation trophy, do we have that? Are we stealing that opportunity to learn about humility or empathy, as you said earlier?
I think 100% that we are.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because we're not giving the child or the kid or whatever age group, let's say 18 and younger.
Yeah.
We're not giving them the ability to not to put too fine a point on it, but to kind of go through the growing pains. I mean, I will tell you that the best coaches from a physical standpoint, as well as teachers, were always the toughest ones that I ever had, but they never gave up on you, right? So it wasn't just the fact that you were participating in whatever you were doing. It was, like you said, you laying your ass on the line 100% for whatever you're doing. That's going through battle. I mean, that's how I look at it. You're whatever it is. It doesn't have to be literal a battle, but you're going through a battle and accomplishing something that's building confidence in that person.
Yeah.
And it's coming through that struggle. And we've talked about this in other podcasts, but That's where I think we're doing a big disservice when we talk about and give out participation types of trophies or some variation of that theme. Is, again, and I've mentioned this before, is that, if this person isn't doing what they need to accomplish from a skill set standpoint, they need to learn that they're not, and then through that hardship or whatever it is, if they've got the drive to excel at it, then do better, level up. That's all you. I mean, that's the only way you're going to succeed, because we're not all out here as adults saying, well, I take that back. Right now in this day and age, lots of adults are
acting as supposed
That's why
adults.
we're having these conversations, because maybe you and I, because we're in a different generation, but a lot of the younger generation, sorry guys, but you're sitting there going, well, you owe me, or I deserve this. No, you don't. Nobody owes you anything, or you deserve anything. It comes through the process of failing and succeeding. And believe me, it takes a lot.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Just, I don't know. Hopefully, we're not getting too off topic on it. The entitlement, right? And I honestly, I agree that there's a gross decline, or excuse me, there's a negative decline, if you will, of in this entitlement thing, right?
Yeah.
What I do disagree with, though, is that it's strictly with millennials, for example. This isn't brand new, and it wasn't just randomly created by the millennial generation.
No.
It's been learned by the older generations who are not taking ownership of their own sense of entitlement. Again, I don't want to get too off topic on it, but I think that entitlement comes from this whole participation trophy BS.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I know I'm a little bit older than you, but I'm the generation that has raised or have all these kids that are in their 20s and 30s, and then even younger, because now they would be grandchildren or the such. But it's that, oh well, I'm owed something. No, I'm not owed anything. If again, I don't have the privilege of having kids or grandkids or any of that kind of thing, but the influence that you have on those people. Is like the ripple effect. You're throwing a pebble in a pond, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and
Right.
bigger. And we need to put our reins on that a little bit.
So how do we do that?
Are we going to be here to fix that? I don't think we're going to fix that today. We're here to let the guys know that there's other guys out here that think similarly. At least give them a sounding board to go over it.
To say I'm not the only one.
Yeah, they're not the only ones sitting in their offices at home just going, man.
No, I think what we can drive across here, though, is the opportunity that when our kids are playing these sports, we have the opportunity to help build that confidence in them by by reminding them. And it's every single match or competition or whatever it is, right? And it's not just sports; it's everything they do, whether it's mathletes or chess or
Right.
fine arts or whatever it is. There's tryouts, and you have that's how you get better, though, is by challenging each other. But you can do it in a manner that you build each other up together, and you will be better all together, right? And one day it might be Johnny, one day it might be Sally. But you're all gonna be better and stronger by, I don't want to say stronger together, but you are, right? By challenging each other. And if you can do it with respect, right, that's where you're going to be happier about it. And at the end of the day, it's really the pursuit of happiness, right? So we get joy from doing the activity. Like, if I were to quit triathlons and running and swimming and whatever because I didn't win the actual race, I wouldn't have gotten to race number 2.
Well, you've learned to enjoy the process.
Right. But
Yeah.
it's community as well. And, I was, so there's a charity event called the Dolphins Challenge Cancer. It's part of the Miami Dolphins Foundation. And I'll be doing it again this coming February. And I was interviewed at a particular little event that they had a few weeks ago. And they said, what's the one word that, comes to mind when you think of the DCC? And, I said, well, community, but I use that phrase a lot. And then I, talking out loud to myself during the process there, said, no, I'm going to stick with community. And whether it's triathlon or running or the DCC itself, the community is what makes it fun for me. So again, I have actually a triathlon race this coming weekend. How am I going to do? I don't know, because I haven't done as well preparing for it, but it's awesome. It's fun. I've been doing this for 15 years now or so, because I go to these events or races and I see friends that I've been racing against for years, right? And although it's kind of like when you're in that moment, it's not like you have a team, you're racing against each other, but these are friendships that I've been able to create and maintain for many years in this aspect, right?
Right.
We kind of like, we taunt each other a little bit, but it's all in fun. But it's the sportsmanship and that community that's been created with it that I've really come to enjoy.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going through the process. That's where the enjoyment is coming from. Again, it goes back to that. Okay, yeah, you're participating and you're not really expecting to win or to lose, but it's going through the process that you enjoy. You learn that as you evolve and grow up as an adult.
Right.
We don't learn that so much as when we're kids, because a lot of times there is like this black and white or red and green, those opposing, whatever they may be.
But how do we do it with our kids? I think it's really just allowing them the opportunity to participate, right?
Right.
But reminding them every single time, and I mean, anyone who has kids knows there isn't just like, they don't just get it once and like it's magically there inherently in them. We have to repeat very regularly our words and our messages to our children, and with that, they will build that confidence, because if we can help them learn how to be empathetic, how to be humble, right? How to improve and learn from those mistakes, learn from those successes, they will be happier as adults, or as teenagers, as adults then, right? And they'll learn how to compete with each other mindfully.
Mindfully is a great term for that.
Yeah.
Allows them the flexibility to understand that it's that piece, that empathetic piece, that part that we're talking about. Because again, sometimes they're going to be winners, sometimes they're going to be losers, and sometimes they're just going to participate, and that's okay. But they're not going to get a trophy. You got to win that or lose that.
Right.
So
even if I get third place out of 3,
third place
I'm
out
not
of 3?
Celebrating that.
that's the second loser right there in my book.
Yeah, that's which has happened to a time or two, especially on the masters swimming side. But
all right, Rob, it sounds like we had a good little discussion there.
I think so. Hopefully, we have some of our listeners understand. There is no need for participation trophies. Let's get rid of that. To be honest, let's teach our kids about humility and build confidence in them.
Absolutely.
So, all right, good stuff. We'll be talking to y'all another time soon.
Thanks, guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.